Hey everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Crypto Invest. Today in this video I want to talk with you quickly about Ripple. There has been some announcement, and then we're gonna dive right into the market. Take a look at Bitcoin to see what is happening today. It has been quite an exciting day. So with that, let's get into it. Before I start, as always, this is for informational purposes only and should not be considered as investment advice. So Ripple, what is going on with Ripple today? Media company TechCrunch founder Michael Arrington has announced that he is raising $100 million for a hedge fund called Arrington XRP Capital. So the focus of this fund is to first of its kind that will compel all limited partner or the LP to invest in Ripple XRP. So XRP is the cryptocurrency that is behind the RippleNet software. I have made videos maybe a month or two ago about the differences between RippleNet and Ripple XRP, which is the cryptocurrency. So take a look at that video if you want to know more information. So the Arrington XRP Capital focus is gonna be using that $100 million to holding, buying, and trading XRP token. And the reason why he chose XRP because he thinks that XRP is very useful because of the transaction time and the low cost. So far Arrington and his partners have already raised $50 million US, so about half so far, and he are thinking that he will get the rest of the money by the end of this year. So this is overall a pretty positive news for Ripple XRP for those of you who are a long-time holder of XRP and a believer in the projects. Unfortunately though, the price has not been react too well to this news, even though, you know, my first impression is that the price gonna pop, but this has not been. But there are bigger things at play today. So let's get into the main topic of the day. This morning when I woke up, I look at my Coinbase account, and Bitcoin is around $11,200. So that has been really good, and I was really surprised that Bitcoin actually break through $11,000 without any issues. Not only that, I'm seeing Ethereum at around $515 for the first time, and this is the first time that Ethereum broke the $500, so I was really excited about that. And then at around, I would say 10:30 a.m. California time, we have begin to see some serious volatility in the Bitcoin price. So Bitcoin begin to crash to low 10,000 again, so they lose $1,000 very quickly, and then after that it begin to push down to 9,500 very quickly after that, and it's also affecting the entire market. So take a look at the Bitcoin price chart here. The high of Coinbase, according to TradingView, is 11,489, and it's fell all the way down at the bottom of this at some point as 85.90, and it quickly recovered back up to around 9,700, and it stabilized there for a few hours, and now it is trading above 10,000 once again. So going from 11,475 and then just a few hours later to fall all the way down to 8,590 is definitely a crash in my book, but it's happened very quickly. During that time, Coinbase is actually went down for quite a long time, and it went back up, but it was very flicky. I couldn't really log in, and even when I was in Coinbase, I couldn't really buy or sell at all. And not only unique to Coinbase, even Gemini was down. They was having a lot of performance issues during the time that Bitcoin was crashing all the way down to the mid 8,000, and even when it was stabilized at around low 9,000, I was still having issues. So myself, and I'm sure a lot of people, couldn't really log in to sell your Bitcoin during the crash, and two, for those who want to buy during this crash, we couldn't really log in and buy any Bitcoin. Everything seems to go back and function as normal now, and Bitcoin seems to be stabilizing at around $10,000 the last few hours. So since then, quite a few articles coming out with some information about the flash crash, as I call them. What happened is someone with a lot of Bitcoin has set 11,400 as his target to exit the market, and of course when that price hit, he dumped a lot of Bitcoin onto the market, and that just caused a huge dip in the price. And of course, follow with that is some panic selling, which further drive the Bitcoin price down a lot more than it should have. Even though the price seemed to come back up fairly quickly just a few hours after that, and now we are around 10,319, which is definitely not bad at all. We was able to retain a lot of the gains the last few weeks. But this is the beginning, and also I should say a beginning. This is a good reminder for everyone that this market is very volatile and really young and small. You know, one simple order can really push the Bitcoin price down quite significantly in a very short amount of time. But if we zoom out, you will see that even though this is quite a flash crash, but you know, over the course of I would say less than a month, over the course of a month, we have came a long way in 30 days. So you know, you gotta put things in perspective, and the higher that we go, the higher the value of Bitcoin, the higher the fluctuation will be in terms of dollar values. So once we get to $10,000, fluctuation for a matter of $500 to $1,000, it's fairly normal, because we are looking at roughly about 5% to 10% fluctuation only. But the value in US dollar term, it's gonna be a lot, because we are dealing with bigger number here. Also, I do want to point out that this market, in my opinion, it's gonna be even more volatile in the future. And the reason why I say that is that more and more derivative products for Bitcoin is coming to the market. So at Consensus Invest, they has announced, they mean DİCH, they have announced that they're gonna introduce margin trading service, something that they have thought about in the past, but it was on hold for this entire year. But they are going to offer margin trading. So if those who don't know, margin trading is when you can trade by either buying more than what you have in terms of dollars, or you can borrow Bitcoin and then you can sell them on the market with the hope to buy them back in the bottom for cheaper and return the borrowed Bitcoin. So it's gonna be even more speculation coming into the market. And of course, we already know about the CME future Bitcoin contract that's gonna establish pretty quickly here in the next month or so. And on top of that, we have already heard news about the CBOE, which is the Chicago Board Option Exchange. They also offering Bitcoin future contracts. And today we just hear news about the fact that NASDAQ, which is a pretty well-known exchange here, not only in the US but for the entire world, they also plan to introduce Bitcoin future starting mid of next year, so around the second quarter of 2018. What's really interesting about NASDAQ is that once they offer their products, which is the Bitcoin future contracts, and it's happened to have a hard fork in Bitcoin, the way they're gonna handle hard fork is the products, they will go ahead and reinvest the proceeds of the fork coin, the spin-off, back into the original Bitcoin as a way for you to have a seamless experience as a trader. So meaning that if you're holding the Bitcoin contract and a hard fork happen, you are going to get more Bitcoin. You're not going to get the additional fork coin. And of course, all of these products were put together mainly to entice the big player, right? The institutional money, right? Institutional is not gonna come in like you and I and establish a Coinbase account and buy and sell Bitcoin. They're gonna want to have protection. They're gonna want to have a way for them to leverage their money to get even more Bitcoin, or they want to have a way for them to bet against the market if they think that there has been a lot of exuberance in the market. So a lot of these products that you are looking at here is to really entice the big money coming to the space. You know, whether or not you like it or not, you know, some people really like it because they're gonna provide more liquidity to the market. It's gonna provide more capital flow into the market, but keep in mind also capital flow out of the market if they decide to bet against Bitcoin. But more importantly, they're gonna raise awareness for a lot more people who have not heard of Bitcoin or been on the fence about trading Bitcoin. So institutional money can do all of that, no doubt. But a lot of people also see the flip side of institutional, which is number one, from a philosophical standpoint. The whole cryptocurrency movement is to move away from a traditional market, traditional fiat currency system, etc., etc. And now that institutional is at play here, a lot of people feel like we are moving away from our original goal. And other people, even not from a philosophical standpoint, but from a investment standpoint, they do feel that once institutional coming in here, it's gonna create a lot more volatility in the market. No doubt, they like to win, they like to make money, so they would do quite a few things to get the money that they want. They will employ certain tactics, sophisticated trading algorithms to really squeeze a lot of money out of the market, and that's the goal for them. So that's the flip side as well. You know, like I say, if institutional think that Bitcoin is overbought and they convince so, they will do a lot to try to cause the price to go down and profit on the way down. And then also, if they think vice versa, that Bitcoin is really oversold, they will certainly deploy certain tactic to buy a lot of Bitcoin to drive the price back up. And that's just the nature of their business. So keep that in mind as well. Certainly let me know what your thoughts are as far as institutional money coming in, as far as a derivative for Bitcoin is coming into the market. It's certainly not a debate because they are coming regardless of we like it or not, but it's helpful if we can prepare for what may come up next. As far as my thoughts on Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies overall, I am still pretty bullish. I tend to agree that Bitcoin can go much higher in the long run. So in the short run, we may not see a pullback. No one can tell for sure. Market history seems to indicate that when there's a flash crash, it is the beginning of a bear market. Markets seem to think that the last time we have this kind of parabolic run up, we're gonna see a significant corrections. But that's history, right? History doesn't always repeat itself, so I have no way to know for sure. For me, I'm gonna stay into Bitcoin. I'm gonna hold my coin. I am looking for $15,000 and eventually the $25,000 that Tommy Lee was talking about. I think, you know, in the long run, this is certainly possible, given the facts of how young the market is and how much demands there are. The more extreme side of things are predictions from like John McAfee, when he just revised his prediction to $1 million per BTC by 2020. If you remember, a few months ago, he provided a prediction at $500,000 per BTC by 2020, but because of the price have run up so fast the last couple of months, it really has exceeded expectation in terms of pricing. So now his new expectation is $1 million by 2020s, and this is a combination of him thinking the demand gonna drive up the price, and also there gonna be some kind of crisis in the fiat currency system in the next 3 years or so. I'm not sure how I feel about this, but I certainly in the camp that we can certainly see $15,000 by next year, and then $25,000 hopefully by the end of next year or the following year, which is gonna be 2019. So that's my thoughts. Of course, I don't have any crystal ball to know whether or not that can be true. I'm just like you, just an investor, try to stay up with the market, try to provide you with the most updated information, try to explain anything that I may think useful for you. So if you like the content of this video, hit the like button because it does really help other people find the same information. And if you haven't done so, subscribe to the channel so you get the latest information related to cryptocurrencies. With that, take care of yourself, and I will talk to you soon. Bye bye.